Welcome one, welcome all to the Off the Rails Sports Podcast. I'm here with Brian, the superstar co-host, the host with the most. How you doing today, Brian?
Hey, I'm doing great. Got a nice hot cup of coffee and some good topics to talk about, I hope.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope we find somebody who can actually come up with something energizing and cool. But first, hit that like and subscribe button. It means a lot to us. Leave some comments. We're off and running with the world of baseball. The opening week is in the books. It does seem like well, let's just start with the biggest story. The Dodgers continue to win. They took they were down 5-0 to the Braves yesterday. Next thing you know, they tie it. Shohei hits a walk-off in the ninth. What's your impression of the Dodgers after the first week of the season?
Pretty good. I mean, they got a solid half game lead on the Padres.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
not good. I mean, the Dodgers are great. They're doing awesome. They've had a couple of spectacular comeback wins, but I mean, it's not like they're running away with the division or anything. Padres are right on their ass.
Yeah. You know what? I'll tell you, the Padres are getting a lot of accolades and deservedly so, no doubt about it. But I'm really surprised at how good San Francisco is. They've been on the road the entire time. I think you mentioned that in the preseason that you thought that they were going to be sneaky good. But
Yeah.
I thought they were still going to be fourth place in that division. But man, they are playing some really, really good baseball.
Yeah, and they probably will still end up in fourth place because let's not forget about the Diamondbacks either, who are off to a great start. I mean, the
Sure.
Dodgers are doing awesome, and they've had this great run, and they're 7-0 and a couple of dramatic wins, but they don't even have a big lead in the division. And even
Yeah.
I think even Arizona is only 2 games behind them.
Right. I
So it's a tough division actually.
I think we're going to get a real. I mean, look, the Dodgers are winning the games in front of them. That's all you can ask of a team.
Yep.
Um, but they're going into Philadelphia this weekend, which, like ESPN would tell you, is a crucial early season metric. Like okay,
Oh, of
even if
course.
we're going to have Eduardo Perez tell us how crucial the game on Sunday night is against Zach Wheeler. Yeah, okay, guy.
Well, especially that sixth inning Shohei Ohtani at bat versus Zach Wheeler and how that's going to translate into the NLCS too.
Right. Yes, exactly. Exactly. All right. Let's veer off a little and let's talk about what seems to be the prevalent theme in baseball is all the extensions that they're giving out to players. Obviously, for most players, they try to have a quote unquote deadline at the beginning of the season so they quote unquote don't have distractions. But obviously, these contracts started in spring. They kind of have a tentative deadline. Now we're kind of seeing some. I'm just going to go through a real quick list of the contracts that have been signed in the last couple of days. The Red Sox signed Crochet 6 years, 170 million. They signed Christian Campbell 8 years, 60 million. Padres signed Jackson Merrill 9 years, 135. Mariners signed Cal Raleigh, their catcher, 6 years, 105. And Marte, Ketel Marte, for the Diamondbacks, kind of extended his contract. He already had 3 years left on it, but they went all the way to 2031, I guess, or 2030, depending on options. And they added 64 million more and guaranteed for a total of 116 and a half. What do you think about all these extensions, Brian?
I think it's good, good for the players and good for the teams. Uh, the one I would say, I mean, we're Red Sox fans, we don't hide that. So we're excited that they traded for Crochet, who is expected to be a top tier pitcher. And now we're excited that they signed him to locked him up for longer than his current contract. I would say out of all the contracts you just mentioned, though, that's the one that if you could say the team got burned the most and overpaid, I would say is that one. Only because he's the most, the least proven worthy of an extension with that kind of an annual pay, in my opinion. It's not my money though. I don't care.
I thought I thought it was really a smart signing. And you and I know not everybody knows what's going on. You and I totally disagreed when the Red Sox re-signed Chris Sale to the 5-year $1.25 contract back in the day. And Brian turned out to be right about that. It was an epic failure. But if you're going to give up, excuse me, if you're going to give up all those prospects, obviously you believe in him. At some point, you got to go. And I don't want to see a repeat of the Mookie Betts thing where we kept trying to save a couple bucks here and there. And then the guy just put up his middle finger and goes, okay, we're just going to see what happens at free agency. Look, you either believe in your scouting or you don't. And I like the signing because honestly, 6 years for a number one starter. And hey, he beat the Orioles yesterday
Yep.
in the opening week. I think it's a reasonable number.
It's a reasonable number. I just think that he has not had enough big league experience to warrant that extension when they still have 2 years on the current deal. I would have thought it would have been they probably could have signed the same deal if they let him go through the whole season, make sure he stays healthy because he's never done that before. And then you see what he's got and you say, yeah, this worked out good. Let's give him some money and extend him. That's the only take I have on it is that he
Okay.
hasn't proven himself to be a durable enough guy yet to be getting close to 30 million a year.
No.
That's my take. But I'm glad they locked him up because
Yeah.
even if he's going to spend a month every season on the IL, he's still going to be really good and he's going to pitch and win some games for him.
Yeah. I remember back in the day, and I think the thing that people really underestimate in baseball, and I remember Theo Epstein saying this, is the most valuable player in baseball is a number one starter. And I remember back in the day, this is in the 90s. I don't even think you were born, Brian. And the the Rangers ran into Fenway, and it was a Friday, and I don't know who their manager was. I think it was Hargrove or somebody like that. I don't know. And they were down. This is back before all the analytics took over in baseball. And
The good old days.
the good old days, your favorite. And they were down like 6-5, and they were bringing in relievers for every inning. They were bringing in two relievers an inning. They were acting like this was game 7. And they won the game because they brought in like 6 relievers. And I remember them interviewing Hargrove after the game, and he goes, we had to win this game, not the ESPN hype. And they go, well, what was the big deal? And he goes, because Pedro's going tomorrow, and if we lost today, we were on the verge of getting swept. And I literally stood back and I go, you don't hear managers say that. Like, they do the rah rah, go out there, we're gonna win. But they knew when Pedro, a real dominant number one starter, came in, they had a problem. They were maybe a 15% chance to win that game. And I thought to myself, wow, how does that change the dynamics of every series if you really have a number one starter?
Yeah. That guaranteed W every fifth day or sixth day
Right,
in this era, is
right.
is important. But that's also a slight thing we're lacking in the MLB of recent years because that number one starter most of the time isn't going deep enough into the game to be a guaranteed W. I mean, a lot of times your number one guy, is going only six. And then
Right.
you got to trust your bullpen for 3 innings. And if you don't have a big lead, you know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
like yesterday
Yeah.
Crochet goes 8 shutout innings. You got to bring in a closer, no problem. Evaldi yesterday, shutout complete game, 99
Right.
pitches.
Right.
I mean, that's a number one effort.
Yeah, absolutely.
Blake Snell going 6 and shutting me out, that's great. But then you still got 3 innings to go. And how many times did Jacob deGrom lose games with the Mets?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Garrett Cole. You're right. But I think the new standard for starting pitching is 6 innings. They just want to go through the
Yeah.
lineup twice. That's it. Because
But it takes away the dominant starter means a
yeah,
guaranteed W.
absolutely. And y'all, I'm going to give you a crazy stat. I know you don't follow the gambling markets. What do you think in Vegas The over under is for most complete games by one pitcher this year.
Oh, I'm going to say 2.
Okay, very close. It was 2.5. So you could go over or under it. And honestly, who's going to go over? Who's going to bet in literally the thousands of pitchers there are in baseball, or at least in the high hundreds, that somebody isn't going to get 3 complete games? Like you said, Evaldi already has one. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you gave me that number, I'd still bet under. I would. How
Yeah,
crazy is that? The
probably.
guy's got 150 games left, and I don't think he's going to get 2 more complete games.
That's sad.
Well, it's just the evolution. Things change, Brian. Okay? I know you can still rock those sunglasses from 2006, but not everybody can pull that off. Okay, buddy?
Okay, it's not
Just
the same pair, though. I just buy the same style every time they break.
oh, I didn't know they were still in style. I didn't
This
know
is my
Ray-Ban
this
was
is my
still around.
CVS special. I don't spend a lot of money on sunglasses because they break and I lose them so frequently. So
Right. Got to keep the eyes good. Well, it seems like our favorite Red Sox, Rafael Devers, broke out of the 0 for 21 slump. I think he somehow in the 0 for 21 he had 23 strikeouts. I don't know how that actually mathematically works, but he broke out of it with a double. Let's see what happens. What do you think of the brother?
finally, I don't know if it was the day off that helped him or what, but he had a single too in this later in the game, so he had 2 hits.
Yeah, 2 for 4, I think.
So you know what? I hear some people talking, some of the other quote experts. I say other because we
Yeah,
are experts,
we are.
and
We're
our
better.
I mean take our stuff to the bank.
I'll tell you something.
But
We're better than those clans at ESPN. Buster
well,
Olney. Oh God.
but there's something to the fact that transitioning from an everyday baseball player who's playing the field, a two-way player. There's like thousands of them, not just Shohei Ohtani. Uh, Thousands of them that play defense and hit. And then you transition to where you're just a hitter. And it throws off a player's rhythm. And there's got to be something to that. And he has to learn how to adjust to just focusing on hitting and then having that downtime.
Right.
I think, and he's got the greatest DH of all time at his disposal because Big Poppy is still with the Red Sox and talking to their players and all that stuff.
He's in the clubhouse every night eating the free buffet. Come on, let's
Of
be
course he is.
serious.
And he was somewhat of a mentor to him when he was first coming up. So
Absolutely.
he's got to rely on that relationship and just get some advice and figure out his way. And I think he'll be okay. But yeah, I think it's going to be a transition period for him to learn how to be a DH.
I think it is going to be it's going to be different, no doubt about it. Because there's a lot of patience that's involved, blah blah blah. But I also think he needs to figure out how to be the clubhouse leader. And maybe he's not that guy. I don't know. But it did seem like, and I'm not blaming him for the snafu this spring. I think the Red Sox management should have handled it a lot better. Should have went to him, dealt with that before it went in public, because Boston is such a media crush. Everything is every day a Boston Red Sox fan, it's the sky is falling. And if it's not the sky is falling, tomorrow the sky is falling, so I better get ready. You know,
Absolutely.
that's just the way we are. All right. Let's talk about some of the games this weekend, some of the series. We got the White Sox at the Tigers. Jack Flaherty is going for the Tigers. You got any thoughts on that?
Hey, the White Sox are hot, man.
Yeah, I know. Got 2 wins. Let's break up the
They're,
White Sox. Our beautiful Red Sox are at home against
they
the
didn't
Cardinals.
they didn't even need Garrett Crochet.
No, they didn't. Touche. I don't know if you saw that game yesterday. The Angels, I'm not sure. Are they still the Los Angeles Angels or what? I don't know what they are. Them and the Athletics, I don't really know what their name is. But they were in I guess Busch Stadium playing the Cardinals, and literally it was like 0 people there. There was like 4
Yeah.
people there. It was like me going to a 1 o'clock game in Anaheim Stadium. I was like, oh, and then Mike Trout comes out and talks about how great the culture is there, and everybody in St. Louis is all a gaga because they think they're going to trade for him. Hey, this just in. All you have to do is give him 2 postage stamps and $1.50. You're going to get Mike Trout.
Man, dude, he hit his first homer of the season
I
yesterday.
know he did. Enjoy it while you can because he's going to be on the DL next week. Okay, the
Man,
Cubs are going to be hosting the Padres. Padres are off to a 7-0 start.
they are. Don't sleep on the Padres. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
They're
you
good.
called it. You called it
I think,
preseason.
and we only really talked.
Did I lose you there, buddy? Can you hear me, Brian? All right. Looks like Brian went a little AWOL. I could see his lips moving. I know there's some wisdom coming out there, but obviously he can't hear me because I think he'd be quiet at this point. That's what happens when you navigate this LA traffic. Brian, are you there? I think I can
I'm
hear you
here.
now. Okay, okay. You just went silent for a second. What were you saying, buddy?
Oh, I was saying the Jackson Merrill signing, out of all those ones you mentioned earlier, was absolutely far and away the best signing for the years and the money. Uh, the Padres grand salami on that one, dude,
Mm.
because that
Well,
dude is a legit stud, and
well,
they got him for a long time at a very reasonable price.
yeah. You know what, Brian? You missed out on Final Jeopardy. That was a very close answer. The best signing of all those was the Mariners signing Cal Raleigh, because I'm going to say right now, he is the best catcher in baseball. And if you want to start throwing out that Rushman thing, you better understand he plays DH half the time. And I don't understand why Rushman over there in Baltimore doesn't play a little more. I mean, in the playoffs, he was DH. I'm like, wow, huh, great. But whatever. We agree to disagree. But, just know that you're wrong.
Yeah,
Um,
and I didn't. I never said Rutschman either.
well, who would you say is the best catcher?
Oh, it's got to be Jorge Posada, right?
Touche. Touche, my friend. Yeah, it is. It's absolutely. All right. The Mariners are taking on the Giants. The home opener for the Giants, 5-1.
Yep. Your catcher ain't gonna make much of a difference there. Giants will win that series.
Okay. We got the D-backs rolling into the Nationals. The Nationals are an amazing 1-5. Who would have saw that coming?
Yeah, they're working on some. They do have some good pieces though. You have to admit
They
the
do.
Nationals have some
They
good
do.
pieces. That one kid, I forget what his name is, that
Woods?
pitched
Woods? Oh,
that
no.
pitched like 6 perfect innings.
Yeah. Hmm.
Uh, yeah, that dude was awesome. And they got C.J. Abrams, pretty young, good young shortstop. So they got some good pieces. But yeah, that's going to be all Diamondbacks.
The marquee series, which explain to me baseball how this is only going to be on Apple TV until Sunday. Dodgers at Phillies.
Because they want people to get Apple TV.
Yeah, of course they do. Well, I don't think they're
So
doing it because they're just trying to get to their network of 6 fans.
is that
Yamamoto
a is that
goes.
a uh, is that a 3 or 4 game series?
It's a 3 game. Starts Friday night with Yamamoto on the hill for the Dodgers
Okay,
against
I'm gonna
Luzardo. I don't know if Wheeler is pitching in that series.
I
Um,
would I'm gonna go ahead and say Philly wins 2 of the 3. Not because I'm hating on the Dodgers, but you know Philly's a good team too. This
yeah,
will be
they
the
are.
first time the Dodgers are on the road. Don't count Tokyo. That didn't count as being on the road.
I agree.
So we'll see what happens.
I
But I'll take
think
Philly to win 2 of 3.
I think that Tokyo thing, and maybe you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm usually not, so you don't have to worry about that. I think that was considered one home game for each team in terms of their number for the year. But
Well, if you look at this, if you actually look at the standings, it says the Dodgers have played 2 road games.
mm, okay,
So
all right.
I'm guessing they were considered Cubs
I
home games.
I guess so. I guess I am incorrect. I apologize. The Braves going to try and finally go home. They're 0-7. They play the Marlins. Maybe that's the antidote to get them a little healthy.
Yeah, they'll bounce back and they'll be back in action.
Yeah, and finally, I'm not really going to go through the Rays, Rangers, or Reds, Brewers. The Guardians are at the Angels for the home opener, and maybe I'm missing something, but the Angels, their home opener is at night, 7 o'clock at night. I mean, I thought they usually had those opening day games. I guess not. I guess got to stuff as many fans as you can into that mausoleum, right?
You got to try. You got to try.
You know, you got to be able to figure out how you can get some more money for your next stupid free agent signing. You know, maybe they can re-sign Pujols when his contract's over. I think he's got 6 more years on it. All right, anything else you want to say?
Services agreement.
Yeah,
Lifetime
exactly.
Service agreement.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get one of those for the Red Sox when they realize I'm a super fan.
Well, and a super analytics guy. Don't sign Crochet. Wait.
Say that.
You said wait. You said wait for a year.
Said wait.
And wait till that guy wins
the
the Cy Young. Wait till he wins the Cy Young, and then that price would have doubled. No, thanks. I'll pass. I don't need to be paying Garrett Cole money.
You know it's worth it. All right. But
all right, my friend.
Chris Sale.
Yeah, exactly. Touche. Well played, my friend. Well played. All right, that's it. Hit the like and subscribe button if you could, and we'll see you Monday.